I was a little bit addicted to Grease. I feel like that was my coming of age movie, but I probably at a too young age was given access.
Luckily, the movie Grease didn't have a negative impact on Melanie Newell. After all, she grew up to become the newly minted president of Public U.S, a B Corp creative agency that acquired Rocket's social impact, an advisory firm she's led for years. But being a leader in social impact requires skills that are sometimes underrated.
You have to have a great deal of patience. You have to have a great deal of understanding what makes people tick and their incentives and what inspires them to act, which is maybe not the same thing as your own. And so, yeah, I think that's a real underrated skill is, we never can just nod our head and say, well, that didn't work out. That's a bummer. It's really always about finding the new path forward.
I'm Camila Rente, and this is Impact After Hours, a show about pursuing a life of impact on and off the clock. Melanie, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Camille. I'm excited to be here.
We previously talked about a big road trip that you were going to have with your family to the Oregon coast, along the Oregon coast. I don't know if you already had it or if it's coming up.
So yes, it's I'll be flying to Oregon coast for a summer trip, but we're going to do a road trip a little bit on the East Coast between Rhode Island, Vermont.
Yes.
I'll be celebrating our 10-year anniversary, wedding anniversary. So very excited for that in just a couple weeks.
First of all, congratulations on 10 years.
Yes, thank you.
That is a milestone. So, road trips are kind of like, if it's part of your family tradition. I'm curious to know what your must bring items are. Just give me your top 3.
All the snacks. We bring a lot of snacks. Yes. I have 2 little ones going on 7 and 4. So we only operate with snacks on snacks.
What kind of snacks, if I may ask?
Oh, that's a good question. We bring a variety. Yeah, we have 4 members in my family, my husband and I and our 2 kids. So we all have our different personal snacking preferences. So I'm all, as the rest of the world is, women of my age are all things protein focused. So I'm all about the protein snacks, anything I can get my hands on that's protein. And my husband's all about the salty, trail mix and whatnot. And my kids are they need about 20 different variety options for just a few hour road trip. So you can only imagine what our car looks like.
Yeah. And with kids and their patience, or lack thereof, you gotta be ready with, everything, I suppose, all kinds of scenarios. So you mentioned snacks. Anything else?
Well, I would say activities. I'm a big fan of, bringing along the activities to keep everyone busy. We really try to be off technology, or at least or embrace that our kids are off technology for road trips, and they do a pretty good job. So we have all the coloring books, all the Mondo Llama crafts from Target, all the variety of crafts and activities to keep them entertained for hours on hours. But they're pretty good. We've been travelers. They've been traveling since their birth essentially. So they're pretty good on the road. Also plane travel, so they're used to it, and we've really embraced that lifestyle, which is nice.
Amazing. And anything for you and your husband?
At the end of the day, I think our focus is keeping them entertained with their crafts. So
if they're happy, you're happy.
Yeah. And then it's so true. And it also gives us some flexibility. So we'll listen to our own podcasts or listen to, music of our own as long as they're entertained. So if we don't keep them too entertained, then we end up listening to Bluey on Bluey. So we have to kind of have the separation if we can.
Yes. And I've never been on that kind of road trip where it's iconic, it's well known. But what are you most excited to see? Which places?
Yeah, this road trip is actually just my husband and I for next month to celebrate our anniversary. So I'm really excited to be without my children, as much as I love them.
I feel like you left that out.
Yeah, no, for sure. But we'll be traveling with them other times this summer. So yeah, I think it's just going to be nice. I rarely spend much time on the East Coast. I feel like I'm located in Kansas City in the Midwest, and I do feel like a lot of our travel takes us west. So it's not often outside of like New York that I get a lot of time to browse on the East Coast. So just excited to have a little itinerary and hit some good breweries, which is my husband's go-to, and just, get to enjoy without a schedule, which is unusual for any of us these days.
Yeah. There are a lot of good things going for you, Melanie, with just the way you described
Yes.
your road trip, as a parent myself, and, not always having the time to, spend quality time with my husband, and, life happens. So of course, like, we wish you like a really fun time.
Thank you. Yes.
So I think when we first spoke, and as I got to learn more about you, I knew that social impact was sort of your vocation. Is that a fair assumption in terms of your career?
Yeah, for sure. It's really been the entirety of my career. Yes.
So you must have worked with tons of people, whether as employees or partners or, stakeholders. What for you is the most underrated skill in social impact?
I think first and foremost is navigation and the ability to break down barriers and navigate internally, which I think plays a role for every organization and every company doing social impact, because, a lot of stakeholders don't view this work as a necessity. There is so much need to have the skill to navigate internally, inspire others, engage a variety of individuals, and determine how to break through when one door feels closed. How do we alter course and change the plan to get the work done? So I think that's a real skill that is underrated. I actually have a degree in social work, so I think that it's been
that helps.
Interesting. Yeah, I think that's played out because a lot of this work is influencing people to take the leap and trust the process. And so yeah, it's really it's really about having the grit to get through when conversations aren't going your way or clients need support and breaking through to their own internal stakeholders. And so a lot of our work and a lot of my work is helping them navigate, which I think is you have to have a great deal of patience.
Yes.
You have to have a great deal of understanding what makes people tick and their incentives and what inspires them to act, which is maybe not the same thing as your own. And so, yeah, I think that's a real underrated skill is, we never can just nod our head and say, well, that didn't work out. That's a bummer. It's really always about finding the new path forward.
I feel like I also, have some of these conversations with my team, and in terms of, being more solution oriented. And yes, we try to understand the problem and we do understand the challenge, but we don't, dwell on that. On that particular situation, because that's what we are here for, as your partners, as your, let's say, agency of record, right? Like, we are here to help you find a path forward, as you've, said so eloquently.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think having done this work now for over 15 years and being in these positions time and time again, I do think to a degree I'm maybe overly comfortable in the stickiness
or battle tested. And
yeah, so I would say in some ways I thrive in the sticky place of how do we break through? How do we figure out a path forward? And I think, being in this industry, anyone who's new to it naturally would maybe have some more discomfort in that place, or really just any professional environment.
Yes.
When you're new to doing something and you're finding a lot of barriers in your way, it can feel very overwhelming. And so, but, I've had the, I would say, gift of being able to do this for long enough and being able to do it long enough with so many different audiences, clients, that I do feel very comfortable in supporting people and kind of getting from A to B, which is key.
Yes.
And then the other thing I would say in terms of underrated skill, I think it's just kind of gotten lost in this space over the years, and as social impact has become more recognized as something that that companies and of course organizations are doing every day, and that's the ability to mobilize people and to really energize. I think sometimes we, even as practitioners in this space, we can do really good work, but if we haven't really energized people and inspired people around it, it probably isn't going to sustain, and it's not going to be maximized. And so I think there's just a real underrated area of this work, and not just thinking about how to get it done, but also like how do you speak to the audiences that you're trying to talk to in a way that actually gets them excited about this, and not just check those boxes.
Yeah, and even across some of our other podcasts, we talk about mobilizing and movement building. I also think there's something magical that happens, or if you want to lead a movement, it's not something you can quantify or put to paper, right? Like there is something magical that happens, but also if you feel like you do not have that skill set yet, maybe surround yourself or shadow someone, or try to get close to someone who's done that type of work.
Absolutely.
Is what I would say.
Yeah. I think there is definitely an art and science to it. I think to your point, like mentors play such a huge role in determining how you as a leader can embrace that kind of mobilizing approach and giving that off to others. But I also think there is a bit of a science to it, and like understanding and doing your homework around particular audiences of like what actually does this group care about, and what are they energized by, and how are they acting online or in real life, and what is going to meet them where they are and speak their language.
Definitely. So know your audience, surround yourself with people who've done it. But the show, as you well know, Melanie, is not about work.
Yes.
We do highlight that, and it's very important to us. This is kind of, as I've mentioned, your vocation, my vocation, and hopefully some of our listeners who discover the podcast are that's the kind of work that they're doing at the moment. But I think in preparation for that big break, or like holiday that you're having with your husband in celebration of your 10th year as a married couple, we do want to switch gears and play a lightning round of seemingly random questions. Are you ready to play with me?
Let's do it.
Okay, take it or leave it, Melanie. Traveling somewhere with beautiful scenery, but unable to take any pictures.
Take it for sure.
Take it.
I would love that. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be so amazing too?
Yeah.
Because if we are barred, like banned from holding our phones during any kind of trip or holiday, I feel like that's a gift.
It would be. I definitely am guilty, as we all probably are, of holding on too tight to my phone. So but I would very much embrace that opportunity.
Okay, so take it.
Yep.
What is the longest flight you've been on?
I've never been to Asia. So I don't know, really just Europe, I guess. I'm trying to think of I'm in the process of hopefully planning a trip to Australia next year.
Okay, that's a lot.
So that would be the one.
That would be the long haul.
That would be the one, but it hasn't happened yet. So yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look at probably a map to assess my European my
Your
European
miles.
distance. But probably Europe for sure.
Okay, which of these desserts is the most overrated? Ice cream sundae, warm apple pie, chocolate chip cookie, or cheesecake?
I would go warm apple pie, overrated. Yeah.
That's why I smiled, because that would be my answer.
Yeah, I'm not really I love fruit, but when it comes to dessert, I want like chocolate or cake, or I'm not much of a pie person, unfortunately.
Same here. What color is your aura today, Melanie?
Ooh, I don't know. What are my options?
You know what? It's an open-ended question. We can provide any, because we didn't want to pigeonhole you because we don't know what your mood is today.
I'm feeling rainbow colored.
Okay.
Or I'm feeling good today. Yeah,
it's appropriate that there's like some bright colors in there.
For sure. Yes.
Okay. I want to know, if you opened a restaurant, what would you name it, and what would be the signature dish?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think what comes to mind first, which is maybe silly, is my kids' names. So I'd go with like a Sunny and JoJo name. My kids are Sunny and Josie, and I've always thought there was like a throwback to the Casey and JoJo music era. Yeah. So and signature dish, I don't know. I make a really good cheesy scrambled eggs.
When you said the name of your restaurant named after your kids, immediately I thought it was going to be like some type of brunch restaurant.
Right? Yeah. Sunny and JoJo just feels very much like wake up on the weekends and you got to hit that spot. So yes, I'm definitely a brunch person, but food is my love language in every way. So I could really go for probably any type of restaurant, and I could make it my own.
Yes. But I feel like there's a concept here.
Yeah.
Let's see
definitely
how things go for
if my career and social impact does not flourish, I probably truly would end up how do I find myself in the restaurant industry is probably my second life.
I mean my husband and I talk about that all the time, not because I cook, but because he cooks.
Yeah.
And he's always like, oh, in this like imaginary restaurant that we're gonna,
I love it.
Yeah, this would be on the menu. So we have the cheesy scrambled eggs. That's the signature dish.
Yeah, well, that's Sunny and Josie's favorite. So naturally, I feel like it's got to be the signature dish at their restaurant. Yeah.
All right. So what was your favorite movie as a child?
Oh, I was a little bit addicted to Grease. I feel like that was my coming of age movie, but I probably at a too young age was given access. Like I have many movies where looking back, I'm like, I should not have been watching that scene when I was 5 years old.
Yes.
But Grease, I mean, I have a lot of memories of not just watching the movie over and over again, but actually like playing the music on the cassette tapes and like sitting there and pressing play and stop and play and stop, trying to memorize every word to every song. Because I was in love. So that was my childhood. I have many, but that's the signature one for sure.
It's like one of the core ones, right?
Yes.
So you talking about movies that kids our age back in the 90s. You're 39, I'm 41. Yep. So we're both like, we watch these movies, we listen to music that we weren't supposed to be listening to. I feel like there's something about us getting exposed to that. And then now I'm curious, would you, have any of your kids like seen parts of Grease or, one of your favorite movies, if not Grease? Yeah,
I try to like walk a line of not being overly concerned about some of these things. I think just like when I was a kid, and I think for them as well, like half the time they don't even know. It's like it's the secondary comments that like they're not picking up on that are in movies that are actually the ones now you're like, oh, this is not for that age. So I'm not too concerned about it. But I've also never, I'm a pretty neutral parent. I try not to be too concerned about like some of the details when it comes to these things. We listen to our Taylor Swift, and sometimes it's not the kid-friendly version, and I figure like they'll be just fine, right? So I try not to worry too much about it. But no, I would not sit my 6-year-old down in front of Grease right now and say, this is a movie you should absolutely watch today.
No, probably not Grease. But what are they into? Like, what movies do they watch over and over?
We are big Disney fans. We just we hit Disney World with them for the first time this January, and it really is the most magical place. I hadn't been I've been a couple of years ago, but I worked with Make-A-Wish and Disney for a little while, so had a trip there with them. But outside of that, had not really spent time since I was a kid, and it really is amazing.
Yeah, my son's into Bluey too, but you talked about Disney. He was a huge Toy Story fan.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Well, speaking of, movies and watching, what is your go-to after hours media? Melanie, what have you been watching? So, we talked about Grease, we talked about the Disney movies, but what have you been personally watching, reading, or listening to lately?
I'm a little embarrassed of my answer, but it's a good show.
Do not be.
Well,
this is a safe space.
Yeah. I feel like TV is my post work day, post kids going down to bed. It's like I've got to have at least my 30 minutes to watch something that I want to watch before bed. So currently, for the sake of all of our sanity and needing more humor in our lives, I've been very into Righteous Gemstones. I don't know if you're familiar, but
yes.
And then I'm really also into the new show with John Hamm, Friends and Neighbors, or Your Friends and Neighbors, I think.
Yes.
Something like that. But that's a great show. So yeah, I mean, now that we watched all of Severance, we watched all of White Lotus, we hit all the major ones. So we had to move on and get creative. But that's been my go-to right now. And podcasts, other than, of course, yours. I also am a pretty big loyalist to Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard. Reading, I made a New Year's resolution at the beginning of the year to read at least a book a month. And I'll be honest, I have not thrived. I'm still on my second book of the year. So I'm embarrassing on that front, but that is definitely something I'm looking to improve.
We do not shame anyone.
I'm shaming myself. Yeah.
Please do not, because the fact that you already finished a book.
Yes.
This year, that's a big achievement.
If and when I do read, which again needs to happen more, I'm more on the nonfiction front. So I have a hard time with fiction. And I think that's part of my challenge is, a lot of the great books out there and that are being discussed often are usually fiction. And I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know what it is. I want real information.
I mean, reading nonfiction still, it's, you're off a screen.
Yeah.
And you're learning in a different way, right? You're absorbing information in a different way. So we love that here. Melanie, our time is up. We have covered quite a few things, and I learned more about you, and I only wish you really, honestly, bliss and all the best at Rocket Social Impact.
Thank you so much. And I'm so happy I got to join and have this conversation. So thanks so much for having me.